What is going on, everybody? I'm Adam Fraser, your host of the River Run podcast, and I welcome you to another show. What is going on? We are here in the River Run podcast studio. Woo! I am excited. Why? Well, my guest tonight is the one and only. You might know him actually as Nelly, and I'm not talking about like any country grammar here. What I'm talking about is Nelly, the fishing adventures. Nelson Brunes. Yes, he is going to be here in the studio in just a bit. But before that, I wanted to talk about something that the fine folks over at Yak Attack, my man Wade Clements, today I received my Yak Attack Roto Grip Phone Holder Pro. This is sweet. Sweet. I haven't opened it. Why? Because I'm gonna open it here right now. This is cool. Really cool. We're gonna get through this here. I have to say, wow. Very cool. This is very neat here. So I love the Roto Grips paddle holders for rods. I like them for my paddles. The mount. Oh man, very cool. I like this. Another spot here for you too. Oh, nice. Tethered style phone holder leash. Very cool. Yak Attack. Awesome. I love it. No, this is cool for a guy that spends so much time using his phone to record. I'm going to put this to use and I'm going to make some content with it. Go hit them up. Yak Attack. They have it. They got the Roto Grip Phone Holder Pro. They got the Roto Grip Phone Holder. I'm making a lot of noise. I'm excited though. That's why. Come on. Yak Attack. Like, honestly, thank you. Wade, thank you. Brother, you rock. This is really cool. Made my day coming home from work, and I was like, something in my mailbox. Go in there. Like, oh, yes, I see it. Yak Attack. It's like, wow. That's cool. As for the giveaway, that was really cool too. So, and guess what? We're going to be doing more giveaways here at the River Run Podcast. Why? Because every person that takes the time to listen, like, share, comment the River Run Podcast, I appreciate it. I love you all. You all rock. And at the same time, I thank each and every one of my guests who take the time also to stop by the River Run Podcast. So don't forget, the River Run Podcast, at the same time, Dubro Fishing. Like Dubro, Brian Schiller, man, the guy is always doing good things. And go check out Dubro. Dubro's got a lot of cool products. The Do More Utility Cup is in. It is now. I hoping mine is almost on the way. I ordered one, and you should too. Why? Because the River Run Podcast always offers all of its listeners an awesome promo code, which is RRUN10. Save 10% at checkout. Dubro Fishing. Check them out. Hit them up. Follow them. Like they're on Facebook, on Instagram. Go check them out. Like Dubro is cool. I'm a big fan of Dubro. I like their products. So check them out. It is always fun to if you're looking for, especially that cup holder, that thing is sick. But the rod racks, all that. Dewey Baits, been using them this season, having a lot of fun with them. Really like the shake and bake and the rump shaker. Without further ado, I would like to bring on my guest tonight, which is the one and only Nelson Brunes. Nelson,
what's going on, guys? How's it going?
how are you? I'm good, man. Like I'm pumped because I like these episodes. You know why? Ontario, woo woo. We're putting you on the map. Like
So I gotta say, your intro is so hype. I love it.
thanks.
Two, the Yak Attack phone holder. I want one for myself too. That thing is incredible. It's
Yeah, dude.
like you were saying, the Roto Grips is such a good product. I've
It
been so
is.
impressed with what Yak Attack has been bringing out this year, and when I saw that, I'm like, oh my god, I need it. I need it.
Yes. For anybody who does well, we all bring our phones out on the water.
Yeah.
I know people who actually bring an extra phone out on the water and they just use that for like their content shooting and whatnot. I like having my phone in a holder. I do like having it, when needed, tethered to me just so I don't lose it. But
Yes.
I really, really like the overall design of this classic, because they're taking some classic parts here, like the roto grips,
Yeah.
like it, most guys with kayaks who have paddles or you actually have started using them as an actual rod holder on my Bite FD. Thank you to Matt Ball for that amazing YouTube video that he did of his Bite FD, like I want to say 3 years ago. Anyways,
Oh.
he did some cool stuff. Fast forward, this thing is just like it's so cool. So I think at the end of the day, I'm really excited to get out there and try it. And who doesn't like rigging kayak stuff? Like, you know
Oh
what I
yeah.
mean? Like
We
there's
do it
always,
so much.
you go out one way and I even spent like a weekend. It was raining, like there was no fishing going on. And I went in the garage and I was like, I need to figure out this Bite FD. Like you and me, we ain't leaving, until this is done. Like you ain't going nowhere. And I tell you, I spent my time. I worked real hard and I got it to where I think I will enjoy it on the river. And don't get me wrong, I have enjoyed it, but on the river, I just love. In my Liska, I was just so open concept where I don't really like to travel on the river with my rods vertical. I'd rather them
Yeah.
horizontal. And so I had to find a way to really make this all work. So at the end of the day, I think I dropped a video on my I think it was on my Facebook page. I
I
did.
think you
But
did. I remember seeing something on your
yeah,
Facebook. Yeah.
so I did that. And yeah, so I'm pumped. And you have a very, very nice Hobie, as I remember.
Yeah.
Um,
Love my
how's that
Hobie.
thing treating you this year?
It's been really good. So I used to have a Hobie PA 360, and I sold it late last year, because there was whole like you were talking about rigging, right? And
Yeah.
my brain was going in circles. I'm like, what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
My idea was I'm gonna buy a 180 and put a bow mount motor on it, right?
Nice.
I bought the 180, but I didn't buy the motor.
Mm,
So for a while now, I was really missing my 360. I was missing. If you never had a 360, you're probably not gonna understand what I'm saying, but I really miss that quick maneuverability it gives you. You know, correcting your spots and all that. It's such a great design kayak.
well, it has it has a unique drive. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like when you
very
look at
unique.
Hobie compared to a lot of the other pedal drives, like you really like a lot of the other pedal drives. It's a prop basing where that Hobie with those fins. You know what I mean? Like
Well, yeah,
it's
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 such a good setup.
and it's very popular. Like
Yeah,
Hobie is well, let's face it, they've got a lot of great boats out there, and there's a lot of good people who go out there and use them. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing wrong with Hobie, and their lineup, they have everything. You know what I mean? Like there's
yeah.
something there for everybody.
So, and you were talking about rigging, right? You never have your kayak maybe fully rigged how you want it. You're always, at least myself, my brain is always going in circles. What can I change to make this better? Should I put this here?
Yeah.
Should I put that there? So when I got the 180, I said to myself, this is my third Hobie. What can I do different to make the install look cleaner, the wires look better organized, and all that stuff, right? So I did all my rigging. I posted the video on YouTube and on Facebook when the rigging was done, and I'm like, man, this kayak looks amazing. I got on the water and I'm like, "Ugh, I miss my 360. It just doesn't churn as it doesn't have a good training radius and all that, right? Fast forward to last week, I installed an XI3 on the kayak.
Wow.
And let me tell you, what a difference. I don't miss my 360 anymore, I'll tell you that much. Just the maneuvering, the spot lock was like blew my mind. I'm like, oh my god, I can stay in one spot and the wind is howling at me. This is insane. It was
Um,
I'm really happy with it right now.
dude, no, and that is awesome. Like you finally found it. You've got it where you want it. XI Motor Guide. I have to ask, Torquedo, Newport. Some guys have even gone the distance of Minn Kota, all that. But what drove you for the bow mount, like opposed to, for instance, like, a stern mount? Like what was your direction with that?
So going back to what I was saying, I wanted that quick maneuvering, quick churning, right? Quick response. So I started with a stern mount. I had those Minn Kota Endura motors, and I did a quick DIY setup. Like I used the mount of a power pole, and I cut the mount, put a big block of 4x4 wood and all that. So I did a huge DIY project, and the
Nice.
motor worked. It was good to get me from one end of the lake to the other. But I still didn't have that tight steering because of what I didn't have a steering handle on the motor itself. I just kept it locked straight, and I was still using my rudder to steer, right?
Oh,
So
okay.
I didn't have that quick steering, that quick response or tight steering, if you want to call it. So I wasn't completely happy with it, right? Then I'm looking at some of my friends that have the bow mount with the XI3 or Minn Kota, whatever the case may be, and I was like, man, like that's what I want, you know. I want to
Yeah.
be able to be in one spot, and I'm like, all of a sudden, I want to turn to the quick right, just boom, just take it right. So that's what kind of drove me to want to do the XI3. I
Nice.
bumped into a really good deal, somebody selling one used, and I just couldn't say
Ooh.
no to it, and I just picked it up. I had to do it.
Hey,
I had to
you
do it.
know, so okay, so let's just talk about this motor guide here. You get out on the water, and like just like you're saying, like the wind's howling, you're working your way through the current, you know what I mean? And you can literally just zoom, come to a stop, and let's hold it here for a bit as I get to the spot where all the fish are, you know what I mean? Or
So yeah, so I probably had the worst experience ever on Saturday when I got on the water with my XI3. First of all, the first thing was my mistake. I was super excited. I got the kayak all rigged. It's looking nice. Mind you, remember I bought it used, right? I get on the water. I launch the kayak, launch the motor, like deploy the motor, and I'm playing around. I'm like, oh my god, this is so cool! Look at me go in circles. Look at me stay still. I'm like, this is
yeah,
awesome. I'm maybe like 300 meters from the launch, and my remote control dies. And I'm like, "Ugh." I'm like, I was warned this motor's been sitting in a garage for a year. And I'm like,
yeah,
okay, now I have to pedal. Luckily, I kept my pedals with me, right? Because I think it's important to have them in case of an emergency.
that is such a good point.
So I pedal back to the launch. I put my kayak on the launch, and I'm like, oh, I gotta go find a store now. And I was fishing with a buddy, and I told him, look, do you mind just like fishing in the area while I go look for a store? So
Nice.
I left for half an hour, left all my gear there, everything. I actually left my camera recording the whole time. Drove
Just
down
in
the
case,
street,
right?
yeah, just in case something happens. Drove down the street, 15 minutes, bought a pack of batteries, drove back to the launch, and then I started fishing again. So I kind of ruined my whole morning. It's fine.
Yeah, but you learned something there that
Oh, I learned.
you
Oh yeah, I
always
learned.
keep the battery, and that's something. I'll
Yeah.
be honest, I went through that myself. Not with a motor, but with a pedal drive. I ran into issues, and I ended up having my whole peg of the pedal part, not the crank, the pedal, come
Okay.
undone, and I was like 3 hours out. And it was pretty easy getting out there because, man, there was no
Yeah.
wind, no nothing. And then what ended up happening, stop for lunch. I'm talking with a buddy, whatever. And then he's like, I'm going to head this way. And I'm like, I'm going to go around the island the other way. Anyways. And boom, my pedal kicks out. And I'm like, oh no. And I'm like, try and put that thing. Adam wasn't prepared that day. Adam didn't have an Allen key. Adam didn't have 15 millimeter wrench with him either.
Yeah.
6 millimeter and a 15 millimeter. Allen key, 15 millimeter wrench. Yeah. The wind picked up. I paddled back that day. And I love paddling. So, don't tease me with a good time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I paddled back and I got back and I was like, oh man. And the whole time I'm like, in my head, I'm like, oh, I can fix this. I can do it. Two things. If I would have had those, I think I probably could have got it back in at least, that I could have been able to either continue. But yeah, it kind of goes back to the whole preparation thing. Like,
Yes.
it's live and learn, right? Like you can't have mistakes just don't happen. You know what I mean? Like it has to happen and we learn. And I find at the same time, the more we get out there and, we're always excited. Like I was excited the moment I got a pedal drive. I was like, wow, like, this is going to be like, more.
Go try it out.
Yeah. I'm going to be like all over the place, like, and it was just something silly. Like, I don't get me wrong. I was prepared. I had everything else that I needed, except for the two things that might, anyways, needless to say, I keep this little kit with me now of tools.
You have to have a little toolkit now.
And, to me, it's one of those things. And probably just like you, now you probably like, okay, I'm always going to make sure that I have, batteries,
a
screwdriver, whatever, because, oh, damn, like you don't want to be, out there and have it kick up. But such a smart move on your point. You left the pedal drive in it. Like I've seen so many guys who take it out and it's like you solely rely
now
on
what? Yeah.
It's like, man, like what? Like I don't know. Like you must really want to paddle, but
I know. and let me tell you, paddling a Hobie is not the greatest.
Well,
once you're going, you're going. But it's a heavy kayak, it's a wide kayak, and that's the biggest problem. It's so wide, you need a really long paddle. I'm not saying it's impossible because I do it a lot. I like to fish shallow. I like to fish largies. And when it gets to a point, okay, the weeds are pretty thick. Here comes my paddle, and I'm paddling. So
yeah,
it's not impossible. But when you're paddling for like, let's say you're 2 kilometers out, you're not gonna have a good time.
No, it's and even if you have a buddy, usually, maybe he might have a motor, so maybe he can pull people back or
hopefully
help along the way. But
so
yeah,
sorry, I was gonna say, let me tell you what happened that made me fall in love with the XI3 that day.
Okay, I like this.
We're back on the water, right? New batteries. I am happy because I'm playing with my motor again. All right, we were fishing a really large section of Georgian Bay. Big open water, really deep water. Georgian Bay has a lot of really big boats. And I'm talking about these huge cabin cruisers, yachts, whatever you want to call them. They are massive. So the area we're fishing, these boats are creating a lot of wake. There was no wind this day. There was only like a 7-kilometer wind day. But the boats were stirring up the lake so bad. The rollers, I don't know, they were huge rollers, man. It was really bad to the point that I know with my old setup, I would not enjoy that day. Ugh. It was terrible. They were just moving you around so much. And I'm like, all right, let me try a spot lock thing. Press spot lock. It positions me like facing the wind, which was fine because I was pointing the direction I wanted to fish. But these waves are coming, and I just see the motor just doing little quick adjustments like this. And I'm like, come on, like this is awesome.
Just holding you there, man.
Yeah, just holding me there. I'm like, I could not do this with like by manpower, right? I cannot do this unless I'm anchored.
Yeah, and even at that time, that's you get the waves and then you get the bathtub effect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To drop an anchor at that time.
Yeah, it's not a good idea either, right?
It's not a good idea. You could really catch yourself in a situation that you may not want to be in. And the thing about the bathtub effect and all the rolls and the kick is that, if you have boats coming, as you go down, they come up, you go up, what I mean? Like you're playing almost like a, what would that be? Like a cat and mouse, peekaboo game that you're just like, oh, I'm here, no,
Yeah.
I'm done. Now
Yeah,
I'm here,
exactly.
no, you know. But yeah, I honestly, I think that's pretty cool because, and I've seen some cool videos where you have that XI3 and you can see it, and it's like it's doing its thing. It's just
Yeah.
holding you on the spot. I think that would be really cool on the St. Lawrence River, only because there's some spots where the current is just absolutely ridiculous, and you could definitely hold on. You like, I'm sure that thing would be working hard, but you could definitely hold on some sweet spots and get to those spots where even I'm sure the bass boats are using their spot lock just to hold themselves there at that time.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
No, that's cool, man. Like, I'm really pumped for you, dude. Like, so I gotta ask you, how's your season going? Like, I've seen this couple videos here, but I gotta ask, like, how has fishing been for you?
So I dedicate a lot of my fishing time to fishing tournaments.
Okay.
So when it comes to the tournament season, it's okay. It's not the greatest, but it's been okay. I'm having fun while doing it, and at the same time trying to learn. But I also, how can I say this? I don't try to let the tournaments kind of like take over my life and mindset, if that makes sense.
No, totally agree with that, dude.
Because
I
I
get what
feel
you're saying.
like it can drain you to a certain point. And for example, if a tournament happens on this week and you have 2 or 3 weeks in between, yes, the smartest thing to do was like, okay, I have a tournament on X Lake. Let me go pre-fish X Lake for the next 3 weekends, right?
Yeah.
And this is if you have a Monday to Friday job like I do. I only have Saturday, Sundays off, right? And you know how it is with your family and all that.
Oh
Sometimes
yeah,
you
dude.
can't get every Saturday to go fishing.
No.
So yes, the smart thing for me to maybe do better in the tournaments is go pre-fish every weekend and kind of get to know the lake.
Yeah, dude.
But at the same time, sometimes I want to take a break and I want to go fun fishing, right? I want to
Love it.
go to lakes that I like. I want to go explore new lakes that, oh, you know what? I always drive by this lake when I'm passing the highway. Let me go check it out today. So I've been doing a bit of that, and I can say that those fun fishing days have been really cool because I usually, call up a few buddies. I'm like, let's go here, let's go there. So we get like a few group of us going, and it just turns into a fun day. So yeah, the season's been going pretty good. I broke my PB largely this year. I finally hit 20 inches in largies. I know some people are gonna laugh, but when it comes to largies, I've been having a hard time hitting that 20-inch mark. I don't know how much it weighed. I didn't have a scale on me, so that was pretty cool. And yeah,
That's awesome. Congratulations on that PB, dude. That no, like I don't know. Like, I always say, people are always like, oh, like, like, I haven't caught one yet. It's like, I don't know. It's not like you can just go and like, yeah, that's
yeah,
there's a 20 right there. There's 23s over there. Like, no, like, you got to go out there and they'll cross paths. I
yeah,
think good karma. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
good karma and positivity, and the only way you're going to catch fish is by going out there and doing it, right?
You gotta put time on the water.
You got to put time on the water. With time on the water, though, your tournaments, though, that you generally run with the Ontario Kayak Bass Trail,
Yes,
and you've also in with the Ontario Bassmasters Kayak Series.
yes,
I remember crossing paths with you many years ago up on was it Cooks Bay or
yes. Cooks Bay on Simcoe.
yeah,
That's right. Yeah,
yeah. And so you're so OKBT. So that is like one of Ontario's, like, would you say probably the largest
I think it is the largest
trail?
tournament trail. Yes,
Um
OKBT is the one series that I have a lot of I don't know, respect for. Yeah, I have a lot of respect for them, but I dedicate a lot of my time to. It's the one series that I want to make sure I don't miss a tournament, just because one of my goals in this, if we can call it a fishing career, one of my goals in this
Nice.
fishing career is one day I wanna win the AOI award. I really want it. So far, it's not going that good. So
Well,
let's talk about 2024.
2024. Yes.
OKBT, they started this last year. They started a tournament at the end of the year that's called the Classic, the OKBT Classic. So for you to get to the OKBT Classic, you got to finish within the top 25 any AOI points. So I said to myself, this year, I didn't make last year. I failed by like 10 positions. So this year I'm like, okay, this year I'm making the Classic. I want to finish the Classic.
And the Classic is on Charlotte Lake, or no, it's
No, it's they don't announce it
Charleston.
till no. So Charleston is the event number 5 of the year.
Oh, okay. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, so the Classic doesn't get announced until I believe a week before the tournament, because it's gonna be like a no pre-fishing. Everybody launches in the same place, so
Cool.
it's kind of like a clean slate.
Yeah.
So anyway, my goal was to hit 25 this year. So far in every tournament, I've been finishing around 45, 46. Lake Nipissing, the first event of the year, I did terrible. I finished like 86. But then the next events after that, I finished 45, 46, 45. So now in my AOI points, I'm sitting in 29. So I'm one more event.
Oh,
I'm still on the I'm still in the running.
yeah,
I can
dude.
still make 25. So we'll see.
Let's pump them up. Everybody.
Yeah.
You let's all just have a moment for Nelly. Nelly, you're gonna do it. Like the River Run podcast. We're gonna hype you up for this. This is amazing, man.
Oh.
Dude, honestly, that's cool. Like, and you know what? When you talk about like a fishing goal, I think that's really cool. Everybody has different goals for their season. Whether it's like personal development as an angler, or that's just setting new boundaries, breaking those unknowns, getting out there and just going for it, like getting out of your comfort zone. I think that's an awesome goal to have, and at the same time we're gonna cheer you on and root for you, because I think you are very, very capable. And at the end of the day, when it comes to the sport, it's people like you that just keep coming to the event. You're positive. You're talking about it online. You see it in your videos. You know what I mean? Like, you continuously spread just straight positivity. Like you're paying. Like, I don't know if it's paying it forward or whatnot, but like you're to me, like you're an ambassador. You know what I mean? Like,
Thanks, man.
and I think OKBT is very lucky to have someone like you, and just the anglers that you encourage to come to those events too, and the time you take for those events. I'm sure they're coordinators and whatever, admins, or however you want to call them. I'm sure they're very grateful for that. And so with OKBT, that's kind of cool to have a event where, because I remember hearing that, because they did that last year, right? Where so at the same time, that's got to be kind of a little bit like that your nerves can get the best of you. Like,
100%.
You might do well like all season, then you hit the Classic and you're like,
yeah. And then you're going up against some really heavy hitters, right?
yeah.
Whenever, and trust me, I don't say this with no disrespect. Whenever I go to a tournament, and I'm always saying to myself, all right, there's 20 guys on this list I really got to be worried about.
Yeah.
How are they going to do today? Where are they going to land in the points, right?
Yep.
Because where they land in the points affects my points as well, in a way, right? Because that list is always moving up and down.
100%, man.
And like I was saying, how I don't try to let these tournaments take the best out of me when it comes to those days off. For Charlatan Lake, I am going to take some time off work to pre-fish, to study the lake.
That's a big lake,
and
dude.
I try to learn it and hopefully perform good in the tournament.
Yeah, it's got big smallies, and it's got big largies in it too. Charleston Lake, which is north of Brockville and Athens, Ontario, I try to make a trip 2-3 times a year to go fish there. It's really fun in the fall. I've gone in the early early July. No, it would have been bass opener, and it's got big largies, and but at the same time it is big, it is deep. It's got these
Yeah.
bays all over the place. It's got boat traffic. The wind is just, I don't know. It's always, every time I've gone there, it's never been, it started nice and calm, and then it always ends up getting real choppy out there. But
Yeah.
I think with that new motor XI3 motor guide that you put on that, I think you're gonna have some things you won't have to worry about like others, just because you'll be able to kind of hold. Now, one of the things I did want to ask you was with OKBT. Do you see, like, are you seeing a lot, like, would you say that like more than 50% of the anglers who participate in that event are running motorized kayaks, have some sort of ways of propulsion, motorized propulsion, mechanical
Ye-
propulsion, is it? No, I guess
Propulsion.
propulsion. Blah, blah, blah.
That is a good question. I want to say, you know what? A really good amount of people have a motor now.
Yeah, like I see
If
the
not the
photos, so
majority. Yeah.
it looks like, if it, to me, like, I don't know, I think if you're going to, you want to have the best odds of getting through it, um you might as well run hard with it. um Now, the Ontario Kayak Bassmaster series also,
Yes.
that that one there actually has quite a following. But at the same time, you're in those top standings. You have an opportunity to go fish down south at the Bassmaster Classic, which I'm sure loads of fellow anglers from that who represented Ontario in the last one. Look at like Antoine DG right there. Like, he's another one who's cut his teeth there. Is that also something that you would like to
Oh,
potentially?
yeah, 100%. Bassmasters is it's a little different. Well, first of all, you have to have a membership, a club membership for that one, right?
Yeah, I
So
remember that.
it reflects how when you see in the events, it's not that many people. You won't see 100 anglers per event.
No,
We get like around 40 per event, somewhere around there.
so that's
The
that's
it's
pretty
it's
good.
still a decent it's still a decent number, right?
Yeah.
Um, the first 5 tournaments, they go towards your Angler of the Year award, Angler of the Year for, if I'm not mistaken, Ontario Bass Nation. So all the clubs kind of get their numbers together, and they announce a Angler of the Year. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. But the last event of the year for us, for the kayak one, the top 5 or the 10% of the field can qualify to go fish the nationals in the USA, which is that is the goal for most of us, right? We want to qualify for the nationals because imagine that experience, man, being on the same
Um,
stage as a Bassmaster Classic. Like, come on.
um, you know, coming from a guy who, I'll be honest with you, I don't really fish tournaments. I'm more of I go out there and I like to fish, and yeah, I just like to do kayak fishing as a whole. You know what I mean? But if I were to, because back in the day I did do tournaments, and I did do the Ontario Kayak Bassmasters series. That would be a really cool experience. And I think even if you
Yeah.
have the opportunity to, like, depending on how well your fishing goes down there, you're gaining experience. And you kind of get a little glimpse at the road life. You know what I mean? Like, the getting down there, and at the same time, you get to go to the Bassmaster Classic
Yeah.
Expo, which
How
you're
cool
gonna
is that,
cross
right?
paths with a lot of cool cats down there. There's a lot of great people in the industry who go down for that. So yeah, like I would say it's definitely worthwhile checking out. So you got through your years of doing OKBT and your kayak getting into kayak fishing. At some point, you decided that you were going to start this whole thing called Nelly's Fishing Adventures.
Yeah.
And and if you aren't already following Nelly's fishing adventures, go check him out. He has got it's simple. It's just at Nelly's Fishing Adventures.
Yeah.
Check it out. He's got a lot of cool video. All the stuff we're talking about, like OKBT and like Bassmasters, or just like him going out on the water with his buddies. He captures this. And Nelly, like, I gotta ask you, like, at what point did you decide that you were gonna go down this road called YouTube? And YouTube is, a commitment. Just it's a commitment. Like
Yeah.
you're constantly putting out stuff. But like, just let's get through the first of this. YouTube, and what prompted you to want to just start putting out videos? Like, was it just something you'd seen, inspired by?
Yeah, and in a way, I have a very when I want something, I usually work hard for it, right? This YouTube stuff. So I discovered fishing not that long ago, actually. It was, I think, 8 or 9 years ago now.
Oh,
So
that's cool.
before I started making fishing videos, I was just making quick videos of my dog, right? At the time, my dog was a puppy, little puppy golden retriever. Who doesn't love a golden retriever? Like,
Yeah, I love golden
cutest thing in the
retrievers.
world, you know?
I'm
So I was just uploading,
subscribing for that.
yeah, so I was just putting like quick videos of my dog and everything. But you have no idea how toxic the dog videos are. Like the comments, you get nailed so hard for any little thing.
Yeah.
If I'm playing with your dog and you pull his ear the wrong way, you're getting nailed in the comments. And I said, you know what, I'm not gonna do this. At the same time, when this is happening, I know it's a little off topic from fishing right now.
No, that's cool.
When this is happening, a buddy of mine calls me. He's like, "Hey man, want to go fishing tomorrow?" And I'm like, is that even fun? Like, what do you do?" He's like,
Little
"Oh,
did you know.
yeah." I'm like, we catch fish with worms. I'm like, "Ew, you touch worms?" I'm like, "Do you keep them?" "No, we throw them back." I'm like, "What's the point of that?" You know?
Oh man.
He's like, "Well, if you want to come meet us at 6 a.m. at so and so park." I'm like, 6 a.m. on a Saturday, dude. That's not happening. I felt bad afterwards because I was the way I was acting. I was like, you know what? Screw it. Let's go. So woke up early, show up at 6 a.m. They're showing me how to tie a hook, how to put a bobber on, how to put a worm on, and all that. Start catching bluegill, and I'm like, this is actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like I kind of like this, the feeling the fish fight and all that.
You got hooked.
I went home that day and I went on a YouTube rabbit hole of fishing, and I'm like, oh, bass. Oh, those fish look cool. I want to catch one of those. I think I watched, I don't know, in 2 days I watched so many hours of fishing videos. 3 days later, went to Bass Pro and bought my first setup.
Nice.
And then it was just going down from there. And then I said, you know what? Let me film my progress fishing. Just let me film it. So I took a GoPro with me, put it on a tripod, and I made the worst fishing video you'll see in your life. If you go back on my YouTube channel, like 10 pages, because this literally was 8 years ago, you are going to see the most boring fishing video you have ever seen in your life.
So that would be it's because on your YouTube channel, you have 238 videos.
Yeah.
Like, oh man. Like,
So there's some really bad ones in there. Just warning you.
No.
If you go back enough, there's some really bad ones in there.
Okay, but either way, everybody starts somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everybody, I'm sure the way you shot it back then to the way you probably shoot your videos now,
it's very different.
It's very different.
It's
but
very
I don't want
different.
to, like I don't want to take away from, because I do have one question. When you went to Bass Pro Shops, what did you buy? What was that first combo for you?
Oh, first of all, I was clueless because you walk in, you see the fishing rod just sticking up in the air like this. So you
Yeah.
go down the aisles. You're walking down every aisle. The whole place smells like wood and candy. And I'm like, what is this place? And I asked the guy, I'm like, look, I'm just getting into fishing. I need something. And he gave me a Shakespeare Catch More Fish fishing kit. He's like, take this.
Nice.
But if you want something better, he showed me an ugly stick combo and take this. And I'm like, both of them? He's like, yeah, take both of them. I'm like, all right, done. Taking them. Yeah. And
Yeah.
here I go home. Stopped at the pond and started fishing for bluegill on myself. It was pretty cool.
That's I got to look back at my very first combo that I ever got. And it was this Walmart special. We were going to be going camping, and we're actually going to Charbet Lake. And my buddy were like, "You got a fishing rod?" And I'm like, "No, man." I'm like, "I haven't fished in years, to be honest with you." So I'm like, I'll go down to Walmart and I'll get myself a fishing rod. And so I bought this. I don't know if it was a Shakespeare bass fishing rod. It was like brown and it had this gold reel and it had line on it. And yeah, like it was the most simplest way of fishing because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I was just so pumped to be out there. And you catch all these, you had all those little like grubs and they
Yeah.
came with all, and I just remember tying on, if all that color wasn't working, this color was work. Okay. And then it was like, oh, worms, this, that. Yeah, but it's funny, you fast forward now and, would you still go out and buy, an ugly stick? Would you still go out and buy a Shakespeare rod? Well,
No.
maybe now what I know, yeah, but I don't know if I go down that road. Maybe I would have with the rods that I have and probably the rods that you have and the reels that you have, you'd probably, go down a different route. But it's kind of funny that
It
at the
is.
end of the day, something that was complete opposite to whatever you'd have done before, you went out there, you did it. So Nelly's now boom fishing. He's out there, he's doing it. So you begin to share your experience through YouTube. So I got to ask, was it always Nelly's Fishing Adventures on YouTube?
No, I had no idea what to name the channel. It went from I wanted to be so my friends. So my name is Nelson, obviously.
Yes,
My friends have always called me Nelly,
I
but I
like it.
couldn't leave it as Nelly on YouTube because of the rapper, right?
I
And because of
yeah.
Nelly Furtado, so it couldn't be just Nelly.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So then I'm like, what do I name it? At first it was I Dig It with Nelly. I don't know why I chose that.
I dig it with Nelly.
Yeah, like
Nice.
I dig it.
I
And
dig it.
then
I like that.
it went to I changed names a couple times. And then I was just like, I remember bumping into somebody's fishing channel and it said Outdoors Adventures. And I'm like, I kind of like that.
Nelly's Outdoors
So I'm like,
Adventures.
Nelly's fishing. Yeah. But then it went to, I said Nelly's Outdoor Adventures. I'm like, no, I'm copying this guy. Like Nelly's Fishing Adventures. And it kind of just, I'm like, I really like that. So it took a
I
while to come up with the name.
I so okay, so now as we like fast forward, now you like on your page, and then this is where Nelly's Adventures, where you share your experience, Long Point Bay, Lake St. Clair, bed
Yeah.
fishing in Canada,
Yeah.
hidden exploring a hidden lake. Like you've got hours on the water that you were recording through probably like, this small little camera,
Yeah.
and you're sharing it with the world. And to be honest with you, you've whopped in at a 1.3K subscriber with a 238 video, 238 videos that you put out. Like that takes time and effort.
It takes a lot of time. And I'm going to be honest with you, gaining traction and gaining a following has been hard. Because it is pretty competitive. And in a way, you kind of have to prove yourself. You know, you have to prove that you don't suck at fishing. You have to prove that you're not fake. Because if you show a fake personality, viewers pick up on it really fast.
Yeah,
Right.
you're
And
not
they're
being
not going
you.
to, yeah. You also can't oversell product on your channel. Like if you have sponsors, and you have to promote your sponsors, because to a certain point, not me, but to some people, they pay you, right?
Yeah, paid
But a lot of
content.
people
Sure.
hate seeing sponsorships or shout outs to companies, right? So there's always these fine lines you got to be careful with. You have to watch your language and how you act, because a lot of kids watch, and parents don't want to hear you swearing or acting foolish on camera, right?
Well, that's such a good point because my 11-year-old son, he spends a lot of time. He's like, I'm almost 40 and I love YouTube. I love it for the fishing. Like the same thing. When I got into kayak fishing, I use YouTube as my guide. I watch a lot of Chad Hoover videos, Gene, Jensen, Jeff Little. Like I watched a lot of these trying to understand the whole concept of what the heck I was doing in a kayak.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's, 10 years that I've been kayak fishing. But I got two kids who they watch YouTube. Like,
Yeah.
and they watch, the content on YouTube is, whether it's kid based or not, gaming stuff, whether it's, like there's families that like go out there and they film
Their
their
daily life, right? Their
their their,
lifestyle.
their lifestyle. And it's like, this is like people, and it's like, wow, like
Yeah.
people do watch
People
this,
watch it. Yeah.
and like the more that YouTube is becoming, like I spent a weekend down in Paul Smith, New York, with a friend of mine, AJ, over at Battlefish Charters, and he has this thing. It's called Top Guide. It's an opportunity for veterans across the United States to come together and just become entrepreneurs, like learn to kind of how to disengage from the military, and if they're into fishing, hiking, hunting, whatever, and more implementing a guide style business. There was a guy, a friend of who became a friend of mine, Get Real Bass Fishing, and he was there talking about YouTube and social media and whatnot. And a lot of the points, well, almost all the points that you brought up here right now, just talking about how you present yourself,
Yeah.
how you hold your product, like how you talk about product, how you present product, let alone yourself, how you carry yourself through it all, and traction, consistency, and and then getting lost in the algorithm.
Yes. Staying consistent is very important. Even myself, I try to upload a video a week. Sometimes, it happens you go every 2 weeks. For me in the winter it's hard because I don't ice fish that much. I don't enjoy the winter. I hate winter.
Man,
So I
I
gotta
am
find a way
also.
to like still deliver content and still try to stay consistent for the viewers and all that, right? But yeah, like when somebody approaches me and says, "Oh man, I want to start a YouTube video like what you do. Like, what do you recommend?" I'm like, usually I kind of laugh a little bit, not in a rude way. I kind of do a little smirk, and I'm like, "You better have a lot of patience." Because I'll give you an example, and you've made videos yourself, so you kind of know. You get on the water. I turn my 2 GoPros on. They do not turn off at all day for 12 hours. 12 hours of video I have on my camera. I notice some people like to go on the water and they press record when they catch a fish. And that's fine, but I feel that you miss some really important features when you do that. You miss the cast, you miss the way you work the lure, you miss the hook set. A lot of people like seeing this, right? So
So
that's
true.
why I keep my camera recording at all time. It's recording everything. When I get home, so I already spent 12 hours on the water. When I get home, now I got to go through all the footage. Look for the spots where I caught a fish. We look for a spot where like, oh, I slipped on a rock. Let me show people how I slipped on a rock while getting on a kayak, right?
Yeah.
I'm looking for all these key features. So that takes me like a good 4 or 5 hours. Because I'm watching my own videos on like 2-3 times speed just to like try to go through it quickly, right?
Yeah. Wow.
Then I grab all the clips I want and I gotta edit them together to make it look like it flows evenly. And at the same time, while you're recording, I'm trying to engage with the camera to make people that are watching the video feel like, oh, I'm talking to you right now. And I'm telling you, oh, look, this lure, I'm trying this lure today. I'm trying this technique today. I'm trying to do that. So at the end of it, when the video is done and uploaded, I probably spent close to 20 hours on it. No, 12 to 20 hours at least.
Okay. And, okay. Your videos have ranged anywhere, let's say in the like 12, 10, you've gotten, 7, 10, you're taking all this footage that you've literally shot over 12 hours, and I really like your approach. You left the camera on.
Yeah.
And you catch those moments, because I really believe that as much as I like seeing that quick, and this is the fish that I caught.
Yeah. Well, how did you catch it?
How did you catch it?
Yeah.
What
were you doing?
what were you doing?
Yeah.
What was different? Was there, what, talk, you talk about, yeah, there's a pad line, weeds, or, actually there's big log jam right over there, needless to say, you put it together, and that's the part where I find your content to be engaging in that sense, is because the camera's rolling. And it's funny because it's and I make, I always, when I as a I have subscribed to Nelly's Fishing Adventures, and I've been subscribed now, I think, for a while. But I was gonna say that I've sat there and I've watched your videos, and I've said, because we have spent time out on the water together. Um, there's like ones where you're like, sorry guys, like I was just fishing. I know I haven't said much today,
Yeah.
and I'm like, it makes me chuckle, but then I'm like, you know what? Like he's being genuine. Like
Yeah.
he's being serious about this. Like it's like, like you're a humble person. Like you're just like, yeah, like I haven't. I've just been fishing it, and sometimes, those ones, they always got good music to it. But yeah, like watching your step by step, whether it's, from the drop, because I'm sure you don't just start filming when you hit the water. You've been filming
No.
like, hey guys, we're on the way to the launch, or I'm
Yeah.
gonna meet up with my buddies at cottage or wherever. Man,
Absolutely.
that 12 hours of content with, let's say 2 hours of driving plus, 3 hours of, getting together to showing the community of it. Because as much as I love seeing fishing content, seeing community is huge.
Yes, it is.
Bringing people together in this sport is huge. And I think your videos also capture that, you know what I mean? Like you show it um within your video that, you're sitting there with a group of guys, and you've either all get into the cottage, or you all just got out on the water together, or you're crossing paths, and
Yeah, well, it's something that I really want to show, like tell a story, right? There's a few different type of videos you can find on YouTube, and I'll give you an example.
okay.
Somebody told me once, "Oh, can you check out my channel? I just started again. Give me your honest opinion." So this guy, his videos were all a montage with electric music, like
Yeah.
Euro beats or whatever, like do 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 do
Yeah.
do, do, like
Yeah.
flashing, fish, flash, 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 and image, flash, flash, and then I turned it off after 45 seconds, and then I messaged him, and I told him, dude, good job on the editing, but it's not my style of video. No, there are a ton of videos like that on YouTube, and there's a huge difference between doing a montage of clips and telling a story. I like more the telling a story side of it. Hold on. I
I
got a
like
flashing. I got a
I
flashing light here.
that's okay.
1
That's
second.
okay.
Is it too dark like this? Yeah, it's too dark, eh?
Yeah, it's a little bit, but you're all right. We see Nelly. We see Nelly.
Okay.
No, I like you see that approach on YouTube. You know, it is true. Like there is a lot of people who want you to check out their videos, and there's a lot of people that like, oh, you know, make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit a like, a follow, you know. And I think that's a great approach for sure. Like, because at the end of the day, you know, it is sadly, it's as much as there is a time to tell our own story, you know, there's a lot of people who are chasing the follow and the like. Um, you, you know, I feel like the approach that you use towards that, and opposed to like others who, you know, and I'm not a YouTube. I'm very new to the whole YouTube thing anyways, but when it comes to it, I feel like you gain followers just based on your content being a little more descriptive, and at the same time taking the quality of your editing for the right shots, not just trying to necessarily throw something together
Yeah.
for the fact that I need something to go up on YouTube.
Yes. Also, staying relatable is very important. My
So,
intention,
yeah.
sorry to interrupt, my intention with YouTube was never to be Nelson the kayak angler. It just so happens that I bumped into kayak fishing and I
Yeah.
really enjoy it and love it. But my intention was just to show my journey through fishing, whether it's from shore fishing, kayak, and boat. But because I have a kayak, that's all you see now, right? People will relate to you. Like kayak anglers obviously see me and they say, okay, this guy fishes out of kayak. Let me check it out.
Yeah.
People that shore fish say, oh, you know what? I think I want to buy a kayak. Let me check this out.
100%, dude. I
Yeah.
really think and one of the things I find is, you know, YouTube is great for also keeping people interested in the sport.
Yeah.
Because there may be something that you do. There may be a way that you rig your kayak. There might be a lake that you fished, or, you know, and it helps. It just keeps the ball going, rolling on the interest side of things. It keeps them interested, so they're not losing interest in the sport. Because as fast as people come in, you know, it
Yeah.
can be a very quick turnaround right back out of the sport. But with yours, like, I'm this is where another thing, like you know, you got, you know, all your rods, you got your and you showcase, you know, walkthroughs, you talk about tackle. You know, you're relating on so many different levels. So if you got guys who are like gearheads, well, there's a good chance that, you know, you got guys who are big into tournaments, but at the same time, you're going out there and you're showing people that, man, actually, yeah, I could go out there. I can go out there and fish. Like I could do
Yeah.
this. Like Nelson, you know, Nelly's fishing adventures. He's doing it. He's out there. He's having fun.
Yes.
He's being humble about it. You know what I mean? He put some cool music behind it at the same time
And
too. You know?
side note with the music,
Yeah.
it's something I never really told anybody, but it's just a little thing I say I keep to myself, and it's not a big deal. If you start watching my videos, music is never repeated. Every video has new songs. I never repeat the songs in videos. That's just a little side note I do to myself to like, let's see what song. Okay, that's another thing. You have no idea how much time I spend looking for a song for my videos.
Okay, so
I'm playing my video on mute. I play my video on mute on one side of the screen, and on the other side, I'm playing a song, and I'm like, no, it doesn't go next. No, it doesn't go next.
so let's just hold off here for a second on you, like, because you are on you're on social media at the same time too, like
Yes.
you know, Facebook. um you also dabble with Instagram, it looks like.
Instagram, yeah,
TikTok.
a little bit,
You
yeah,
you cross paths there. So like, there's an approach for everyone. You know what I mean? Like Facebook has a very engaging, community. You can go and share your heart story there, and at the same time, you can get, you know, from one end of the spectrum in review comments, and you can put a different style of like on everything. Where when it comes to Instagram, you get a like and you can say a little blurb, and if you want to share it, you can go right ahead. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And but your approach in the way that you do things, because when it comes to finding music, there's a really easy way to do it, right? You just go and you can take the most popular song right now, the one that
yeah,
has the most plays, and you can just
and put it
slap
on
that
there.
on. Boom,
Yeah,
it's done. And at the end of the day, cool. I don't know, it could be Katy Perry and you're hooking in largemouth. You know what I mean? Like, or it could be, I don't know, Luke Combs and you're ice fishing. You know what I mean? I don't know. But the
yeah,
point being is you've gained more traction on the side that you're using a very familiar song, a very
yes,
popular song, to gain somebody's attention, to potentially put a like or even, follow it, comment it, whatever. But how would you say your approach is? Because you are kind of, I would say, really across different platforms. You know what I mean? Like you're what I would say is streaming on multiple platforms.
yeah. So for YouTube, when I pick a song for YouTube, I like the more. I almost want to make the viewer feel like a warm feeling of I'm really enjoying this video. I'm getting engaged. So a lot of times in the background music, I do like a chill hip hop beat with a little bit of jazz in it. Right
I like
at the
that.
beginning of the video, I like to sometimes I like to hype it up. When I'm driving down the road, I'm making my way to the lake. I'm excited to get there. And at the end of the video, I try to put like a more upbeat, it's a party. We went fishing. We're happy. We had a great day, or we had a bad day. Even though we had a bad day on the water, that saying, right? A bad day of fishing. What is it? A bad day of fishing is better than a good day
Better
at work.
than a good day at work.
So usually the end of the videos it's a little bit more upbeat, like, all right guys, thanks for watching, blah blah, and then I finish it off with a big banner at the end, right? So that's kind of like where it starts, but then it's another rabbit hole. I'm like, do I want a country beat? Do I want a hip hop beat?
Yeah.
Do I want a jazz beat in there?
Oh,
So
jazz beat.
yeah, so it's a lot of trial and error when it comes to the music. Now with TikTok, some people say that if you select the trending songs, you get more views or more engagement. I don't know if it's true, but I haven't really tried. I haven't really tried it, to be honest with you.
I don't know, like, because there's another approach too is hashtagging. Hashtag is a really easy way to also
Yes.
gain traction, because um you're using the quickest way for people to find stuff. So once
Yes.
they hit a hashtag, boom, everything comes up. Hit another hashtag, boom, everything comes up. They tend to follow more hashtags of this. It seems to show up better that way, which you may notice we might see more bass fishing hashtags.
Yeah, and well, doing hashtags is a lot more technical than some people think.
Yeah, it's,
For example, within bass fishing, search up the hashtags that have the most likes and views. Don't just go hashtag red Under Armour shirt. Hashtag blue hat,
yeah.
because nobody's gonna search that. Who wears a blue
Well,
hat or my blue hat around here? You know what I mean, right? You got to be more
no,
technical, like,
you do.
right?
Like if you're gonna use bass fishing, you're gonna want to, like, for instance, you're gonna charm down with in your video, let's say it's largemouth, so you're gonna use hashtag largemouth
Yeah.
fishing. You might even use the hashtag kayak fishing. You might
Yes.
even go into another depth, summertime fishing.
Yeah.
The
Or
nest for
fishing
like,
Muskoka. People can
yeah,
search up, right?
um, but so like one of those parts that like even like Facebook, like, you know, let's talk Facebook, because you do have a Facebook page, which
Yes.
is Nelly's Fishing Adventures. You know, and the approach of a Facebook page, and like I could definitely use some pointers, because like I personally just started the River Run podcast page. Like Paddle and Finn has a website, YouTube channel. Paddle and Finn is on Instagram. Paddle and Finn is on Facebook. You know what I mean? Like, and as much as, you know, like this podcast, like we're sitting here now, is streaming on it, but I was gonna say, like for me, like I'm separating like Adam and the River Run podcast. Like the River Run podcast is its own, and Adam Pross is its own. I happen to sit here as a host, but I need my podcast of its own. And I think, you know, if you're going to go down this road of social media content, you know, separating it is kind of important. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
there's ways that, you know, you can do that. And you, like I said, have a Facebook page. I have a Facebook page, but I also have the River Run Podcast Facebook page, and you have Nelly's Fishing Adventures.
So
And
I'm gonna be honest with you. There's so many social media platforms. I kind of struggle with it a little bit. Like you were saying, how do you separate YouTube channel from Instagram, from Facebook and TikTok, right?
yeah,
So I did open the Nelly's Fishing Adventure Facebook page, but I don't post on it much, mostly because this page is pretty new. It's only been open for a year, but it was a point in my, let's call it, social media career, where I kind of hit a roadblock, like a creative roadblock. I remember sitting here at my desk and I'm like, okay, what do I do? What do I post? What do people want to see? Like, I don't even know what to do anymore. I opened the
yeah.
Facebook page and I haven't been posting much on it. Like, I really want to make it more interactive, because I know a lot of people are still using Facebook, you know, more than, I don't know how to say it. Different age groups use Facebook versus TikTok and Instagram, right?
100%, man.
And
100%.
then even with TikTok, when I'm talking again about this creative roadblock that I hit like last winter, where I didn't know what to do. I travel a lot for work, so in my TikTok, I post nothing about fishing. In my TikTok, you're gonna see food reviews of restaurants across Canada.
Argentina, was it not too?
Argentina was on there too. Argentina was
Yeah, I see.
amazing.
Yeah,
That was
that's
a
cool.
trip that, if you ever want to go somewhere, you need to go to Argentina.
I
That was a
want to go
great
to
trip.
Argentina. I
Yeah,
really do. I've always wanted to go down south even
yeah,
further than, you know, let's say Mexico, and, you know, to really experience. I think Argentina just looks like an absolutely beautiful country at the same time, and
yeah. It's
the
amazing.
food is, you know, looks
It's unreal.
amazing.
Yeah, it was unreal. So, and our
But
dollar goes a long way there. So, but
oh,
you know what?
there
That's
you
how
go.
now it's separated. You know that the Nelly that you see on TikTok is not the same Nelly you see on Nelly's Fishing Adventures, right?
Yeah,
Because I'm showing you something else that I love to do is being a foodie. You know, enjoying good food and going out
yeah.
and
Oh, for
going to these
sure, man.
places that, you know, probably, oh, what, you went to eat the smoked meat in Montreal? I'm like, yeah, I did.
No, well, yeah.
You know,
If you're in Montreal, what
yeah,
else are you gonna do? You know what I mean?
yeah,
Unless you're a Habs fan, maybe stop by for a game. But, you know,
yeah,
smoke
that
meat.
too. So.
You
So
know,
yeah, it's really hard to keep consistent and active and keeping it all different. It is a lot of work. You just yeah, you just have to do it. You have to
well,
put your head to it and do it.
you know, and I'll be honest with you, I kind of had to take a little break from TikTok because I just felt like I was going down a rabbit hole. Um, it was just like one of those things where it's like I go on there and I just like scroll.
Yeah.
I'm
Endless
like,
scrolling. And all of a
and
sudden it's like, oh, I've been doing this for an hour. What?
yeah, I'm like, yo, you got to work tomorrow. And it's like,
Yeah.
I'm serious right now. I've been on it
Yeah.
for this long. So like, you know, like, do you have like, and do you have a, like, if you get a, like, when it comes to social media, do you have a preference? Like, do you have one that you maybe favor more? And like, you know, it might be an obvious to say, oh, YouTube, but like, is there one like social media platform that you really focus to more than
So my,
others?
Okay, so my heart belongs to YouTube. I want my channel to grow. I want my channel to get out there and people to see it, right? For my daily, let's call it scrolling, or if I want to put a message out there really fast and I want people to see it, it's Instagram. But ideally for me, my heart is YouTube. Like I want my YouTube channel to go the distance, right?
So like even for me, like I would say like obviously like the River Run podcast YouTube channel for sure. Like I'm new to YouTube. So yeah, but I like I'll be honest with you, I love Instagram. And I know a lot of people are gonna be like, oh my god, as if. But like, no, really, I love Instagram. I just love this. Like you can throw a picture up, put a quick blurb. Like we don't have to put too much thought into it. We also don't need to like, tell our life stories on it. We
Yeah.
want to, we can, but you're gonna get capped. You know what I mean? I honestly I don't know. I've always been I'm a huge fan of Instagram. I probably I just I don't know. I really like the Instagram culture. I don't know, even if it is a culture. I don't know, but like it's just a platform that I really enjoy. But yeah, no, for sure. Like, and like guys, like if you aren't already following Nelly's Fishing Adventures, do it. Nelly's Fishing Adventures on YouTube. Check it out. It is like where you need to be. But yeah, like hit him up, do him a follow, do that, hit that subscribe, hit him up with a like, hit him with a follow,
Thank you.
But like I gotta ask you, so your YouTube channel now, like just like I just kind of want to rewind here. You also put a lot of work into your thumbnails.
Yeah, I started to more
So
before I didn't.
And I like it because I did want to go back on this because like in all honesty, like if you could, if you had any tip for the thumbnail department here, which is, something I'm definitely learning how to do. Like I make all my own thumbnails for this. But like I honestly think thumbnails are important
Very,
because
very important.
it's like that scrolling catch by content, you know what I mean? That people are like boom, they're going to be drawn to it. Almost kind
Hmm.
of like, your presentation when you go fishing.
Yes. Yes.
You want to you want to kind of have a good presentation, get that fish to want to take it, right? So how is your approach with thumbnails?
Thumbnails, I feel that are harder to make than what people think. I mean, nowadays we have AI. AI can help you out a lot.
Oh my god, can it ever?
But I think for a thumbnail, I'll tell you something I don't like to see in a thumbnail.
Okay. I like that.
Lime green or loud lime, like not lime, like lime green or fluorescent orange letters on a thumbnail.
Oof,
Because I feel like
I'm guilty.
oh, I've done it too, but I feel like it can look cheesy really quick. You know,
Yep.
a font makes a big difference in your thumbnail. So choosing the correct font and keep it simple. White letters and maybe a little bit of shadow on the letters to make them pop a little bit. That's usually how I go to. Yellow letters, I can't remember who said this, but they were doing a social study that yellow letters attract people more. Yellow and white letters attract people more. So that's why I go yellow and white letters. And be very careful with the fonts you pick and put a little background. If not a background on it, put a shadow on them or I forgot the color right now. A stroke. So like a light black outline to the letters to make them pop.
Mm.
That's something I've been keeping in mind lately. Maybe like obviously a picture of you is fine, but some people get really creative where they put the fish in the water and they put the camera in the water and then you get the reflection of the fish in the water and all that. A creative picture always goes a long way. So
Now, okay, so that's funny you bring up the thing about the font because I was like just kind of going through a little bit of like reading of my learning and researching of my own, and I was like, it talked about font color, and yellow was right in there.
Yeah.
White was another one. And so as somebody that, do you have a program that you run these thumbnails that you do? Like, do you do you have a program that you prefer? Or do you?
No, I use a website which is pretty much the same as Photoshop, but it's a free website that anybody can use. Mind you, I have not mastered this website. I'm kind of learning because I started using it, I think this year or the end of last year, kind of started using it. So it's pretty cool how you can all the different fonts and all different modifications you can make, or you could like, let's say you want to you make an outline of yourself. You could cut yourself out of a picture and put a yellow fluorescent outline of yourself and stuff like that. Oh, you know what else I hate to see in a thumbnail? Comic Sans font or Old English. I can't stand
Oh,
it. I
really?
feel like it kills the vibe of a nice classy video, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny you say that. Yeah, that would kind
Just
of give it a different vibe. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
it's
like I mean, if you want to use like an Old English font, I think it will look good if you're maybe making videos on scripture. You know what I mean? Um,
yeah, yeah. In the old days,
yeah, or
like
you're making videos of how to make candles. Maybe it works. So, I don't know. I'm just making stuff up now.
candles.
But yeah, to each their own. But it's just something that I don't like, right? So I try to keep
Just
a nice, simple, thin font. To me, goes a long way.
so I'm just curious, were you hinting something there that there's a potential for Nelly's Fishing Adventure candle series to come out? Because
Yes, I'm coming out with a bass scented candle.
I was just gonna
So
say, for all you largy guys out there,
yeah,
smally guys out there, you know what I mean?
there's
You
gonna
got
be
your hints, you got the craw hint.
be ready for the pike scented candle as well.
The garlic minnow sandal, you know what I
Garlic
mean?
minnow. Yeah.
Okay, so another thing, like as we're coming close to the end, I got 5 questions for you. I'm gonna go
Okay.
1 through 5, and you got to give me the first question that pops.
Like the
So
first answer comes to my head.
okay, so I'm gonna ask you a question. The first answer that comes to mind, if I can get my words out here tonight, because I'm obviously having a hard time speaking. So if you're ready, let's do this, okay?
All right.
Okay. So question number 1. Largemouth or smallmouth?
Okay. When it's fun fishing, largemouth. Tournament fishing, smallmouth.
Oh, but you only can pick one, so it's
Largemouth. Largemouth.
okay. I had
Okay.
a feeling we were going that way.
Okay.
If you could only fish with one bait, what would it be?
Swim jig.
Swim jig. I
Yeah.
had a feeling you were gonna say that.
Yeah.
You're all about the swim jig.
I love the swim jigs.
And
Love them.
I'll be honest, I love swim jigs too. Why? Because completely versatile bait, and you can rig it with so many different trailers. You can
Yeah.
fish it so many different ways.
The
And
trailer makes a big difference where you fish it. I do this thing where I almost pick a swim jig over a frog anytime now, where I really, really fasten it over the pads, and I call it top water swim jig. It's awesome, and the hookup ratio is really good too.
okay, that's cool. If you could only go fishing with one professional Bassmaster Elite Series angler, who would it be? I hit you with a
Come
hard one.
on, man. Probably Chris Eldane.
Really?
Yeah, Chris Eldane.
Any reasons why, or just
I like the way he presents himself in the camera. I like his attitude, his way of thinking. He brings out the big swim mates in tournaments. I never really got into the big swim mates. I bought a few of them, but he
slippery
just
slope?
I just like his way of thinking, his approach to fishing, and not only just fishing, just like in general how he presents himself in life. I think I can kind of relate to him in a way, in my own personal way, right? If that makes
Right.
sense.
No, that's I'll take that. It's All right. So if you could only have one brand for the rest of your life, is it Daiwa or Shimano?
Daiwa. I'm a Daiwa junkie, man. I love
Yeah.
Daiwa.
Okay, so like let's just take a moment here if you're willing to share your swim jig. What's your swim jig setup?
The rod setup.
Yeah. What's your rod
Okay.
reel setup for that? Or if you have maybe
For
you have
the
multiple.
rod, I have a 7-foot heavy Daiwa Zillion.
Ooh.
For the reel, it's a Daiwa Tatula Elite 7-3-1, and I use 50-pound braid because I'm throwing it in the heavy stuff.
Yep.
And straight braid, no fluorocarbon lead or anything. Straight braid.
No. And like are you a floral braid to leader guy, or do you do straight floral, or
It depends on the technique. I want to say most of my rods have the braid and they do a floral leader.
yeah.
The exception is my crankbait rod that is straight floral. My jerkbait rod, which is my second favorite lure, is straight floral. My chatterbait rod also is straight floral.
Nice. Nice. So here's the final. If you could collaborate on YouTube with one individual, who would it be?
Oh man, he's another.
Another.
It's a hard one because there's a few guys I look up to, but I think it would have to be Robert Field from Field Trips.
Robert Field.
Yeah,
Nice.
in my opinion, he has the best kayak fishing YouTube channel out there.
Robert
If you
Field.
haven't watched it, you have to check out Robert Field. He's a multi-species guy. He doesn't fish just for bass. He doesn't do tournaments, but he travels around all of the USA in an RV. He lives out of the RV, fishing
That's
in all
cool.
the states. He also is part owner of a resort in Panama. It's called Los Buzos Resort. So he'll make kayak fishing, ocean kayak fishing videos, and then they're awesome. It's just a really good channel, really well spoken, really cool guy. You got to check it out.
Okay. I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like this is very familiar here. I feel like I've heard that name, and I feel like I've heard the resort too, but I'm drawing a blank. Nelly, thank you for stopping on by the River Run podcast. Dude, I'm gonna let you like shout yourself out here, like whoever you want to give big. The floor is yours, my friend. The stage is yours. Sorry, like it is up for you.
You know what? There's so many people out there that I feel bad if I miss somebody, but I just want to first of all thank you for inviting me to the show,
Anytime.
and congratulations for running the show. You're doing an amazing job.
Thank you.
You have hosted some really cool people on here, and you've kept the podcast really interesting, which is like people don't understand how hard it is to run a podcast. I did maybe 5 or 6 podcast episodes on my channel, and I kind of stopped because it is really hard to do, to keep the engagement, to keep a guest coming on. You got to schedule all that time. So huge shout out to you for running this podcast.
Thank you. Thank
Um,
you.
Shout out to some of the people that I work with in the fishing industry, like Weapons of Bass Destructions, to YOLO Tech, and also I don't know, there's so much, like even the tournament directors, from OKBT, from Bassmasters, because it's a lot of work to
Oh,
run
I'm
all these
sure.
tournaments, which I enjoy doing them. So shout out to them. And I got all my friends that and I'm gonna tell you, I'm not gonna go through the list because there's so many people, and I don't want to forget somebody, and then I feel bad to forget them. But if they're watching, they know who they are. To some of these guys I talk to on an almost daily basis. So shout out to everybody that keeps me motivated, shares the fishing tips, shares knowledge, and then at the end of the day, we just help each other to keep motivated in the sport, right?
That's what it's all about, man. It's all about getting together, having fun out on the water, and helping each other out. At the end of
Yeah,
the day, we're all out there for the same reason. We're all out there to catch fish. Doesn't matter, you know, what the fish might be. You know, there was always people who are going to be out there to pump you up, you know, and high five you. You know, those, you know, I honestly think, you know, as much as we might be, you know, different ends of the spectrum on certain things, at the end of the day, all of us get out on the water for one reason, and that's to
Yeah.
catch fish, and that's to do it out of a kayak. It's do it offshore. It's do it out of a boat. It doesn't matter. You're all out there to chase a bent rod. You know what I mean?
That's
The
100%.
tug is the drug, you know,
Absolutely.
and drugs are not cool. So, you know, at the same time, any kids listening here right now, fishing is not a drug as much as, you know, but yeah, no, Nelson, I gotta say, man, like this has been an awesome episode. Guys, do me a huge favor. Go check him out. Nelly's Fishing Adventures on YouTube. Check him out at Nelly_fishing on Instagram. You can follow him on Facebook too if you'd like. Also,
Yeah.
Nelly's Fishing Adventures. Like you said, you may not see the most consistent content coming out there, but check out the YouTube channel with a subscribe, a like, a comment, a follow. At the same time, you know, go check him out. If you're looking to get into YouTube or you're, you know, you're getting focused on you're new into kayak fishing, Nelly is a guy to sit down and talk with about this stuff. Like, you know, so he's, you know, you were, I'll be honest, man, you are a humble person, and I am grateful to have the opportunity to call you a friend and also sit down and talk with you on the River Run podcast. I wish you and I could get out on the water more, but obviously we live in opposite ends and we seem to cross paths at some point in the season. But yeah, dude, I'm really grateful for you coming on the River Run podcast. And everybody who's listening right now, do me another favor. Go check out the River Run podcast on Instagram. Check out the River Run podcast Facebook page. And also don't forget Paddle and Fin. Paddle and Fin has a bunch of shows happening every day of the week. I'm not kidding. I'm on Thursday night. Woo, Thursday night, you know, it's cool. It's not, and we got Friday night bites. Brian Schiller, you know, you've got Randy Newton on Mondays. You got John Rapp. You know, you even got our new podcast coming out all the way down in South Georgia. And don't forget, even on the weekends, you can sit down and listen to Paddle and Fin. Guys, Paddle and Fin is all over the place. We are here to bring you guys the content and have fantastic guests like Nelson Brunes on the episode. Thank you for coming on by the River Run podcast. I am Adam Pross. This is my guest, Nelson Brunes, and we are about to hit the water. We'll see you soon. Bye.